Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Johnny. I'm going to be the host for the webinar today. I am based in Toronto. Behind the curtains, what you're going to be seeing in potentially 2 hours, it's a lot of snow coming. So if you are in a region that is not as cold as Toronto, I'm a little bit jealous. But we're not going to be talking about weather today. So one of the topics for the webinar today will be one of the biggest issues for some of the third-party providers. It is very common for companies to dedicate a lot of time and effort selecting the best solutions and building the best contract for these third-party providers. However, the same focus is not placed on controlling these portfolios of providers in order to obtain the best value possible. This is why automation of these processes and the control of the contracts in the life cycle is a fundamental priority for every invested dollar to obtain and reflect the return. The idea of the webinar today is to provide an understanding how 2 IT leaders in the region are currently addressing and solving these type of issues. So we have today the amazing, 2 amazing persons that I really appreciate their time today, Pamela Cornejo and Benjamin Hernandez. So please, if Pamela, you can introduce yourself, and after Benjamin, so we can kick off this.
Thanks, Johnny. I will not tell you how is my sunny day here in Mexico City, but thank you to all. Hello, all that you are joining us this morning. Hello, Benjamin, good to see you. Well, who I am, I'm a woman in tech with a strong background pursuing digital transformation in public and private sector in Mexico for more than 15 years. I currently work at the world's largest brewer. It's a happy place where I am surrounded always by beer. I'm implementing tech projects for procurement with a scope of more than 30,000 vendors in Middle American zone. This is Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Central America, and Caribbean, with all the challenges that this means in terms of tax issues, electronic invoicing, among many others. Previously, I handled over 200 IT vendors in a leading media company in the production of audiovisual content in Spanish. Everybody known for their telenovelas, so there was my last job. Here I have the opportunity to create vendor management office with the help of our host of these sessions. So I hope I could share more of this experience during the next 30 minutes. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
Thank you, Pame, for that. I think Benjamin is trying to reconnect, so we're gonna give some more time. But Pame, let me kick off this webinar with the first question for you on like, what will be some critical activities that you need to develop your vendor management area?
I think that the challenge is how we balance 3 key pillars: technology investment with financial optimization and innovation, and always taking time to reduce risks. So for me, the critical activity which I will start in a vendor management office will be improve vendor performance. This is to develop and execute an IT vendor performance management framework that establishes performance metrics, tool for analyzing and reporting performance. This at the same time that you have end-to-end process that ensure continuous improvements across all relevant contracts and vendor, because we have contracts 1 week, and we need to have all this process end-to-end to ensure that we are improving in our services and in the relation with our vendors. So that will be for me the critical point: improve vendor performance.
Thank you, Pame. And talking about improving the vendor's performance, how important is for you to have the financial information from the many providers that you have in your portfolio? Like how you measure the OPEX, how important is to know, like if you're saving money for the company. I know that, again, in your experience, you deal with a lot of different providers in the different companies, but how important is for you to keep these financials in one place so you can actually track if like they are performing or not performing?
Well, nowadays IT is becoming more and more of a cornerstone of a lot of business. No, we all know that. But also, I'm sure that this happens to many of you. That IT is seen as a business unit which has to do more with less. Every time is this the tech that has to this more projects with less money. So when you even don't know where to save or where to invest. And in my experience, the key was to invest on an IT financial management tool. In this vendor management office, a tool that helped me with this information of all the contracts, all the cycle of suppliers, the inventory, license, assets, plus the budget. This gave me a complete view of the IT cost. So this gave me the opportunity to give my CIO, the key stakeholders, the visibility they need to make a strategic decision about the roadmap of the tech in the company. With all this information in one tool, this gave me a lot of visibility, even to ask for more budget or to allocate it to a chargeback that is better for all the stakeholders or other business.
That's amazing. Thank you for that, Pamela. I think we have Benjamin in the room. Benja, are you here?
Hello to everybody. Sorry
Hi.
for the little bit delay, but I'm here.
Fantastic. Thank you. Welcome back, Benja. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I don't know if you want to start with a little bit of an introduction of who are you, what you've been doing in the past, and then I have some questions for you that maybe you will be able to help me better understand.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Benjamin Hernandez. So I'm right now responsible of innovation and IT, information technology at El Palacio de Hierro. I had been working here for almost 1.5 years. Before that, I used to work in the hospitality industry in a company that is called Pueblo Bonito. And before that, I worked in Aeromexico as innovation and information technology director. And before that, I was working in a university, Tecnológico de Monterrey, as CIO. So that is my background. And I think my responsibility in all of those companies, and today is not the exception, my responsibility is to be part of the company strategy, bringing innovation, bringing transformation. So that is my main role. And another important role is business continuity. So I need to guarantee that everything that supports our operations in terms of IT, they need to work properly. And the last, and I think really important, which is I need to guarantee information security. So everything related to cybersecurity. So basically that is my background. And thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming, Benjamin. And I see you have a lot of experience, a lot of big brands or names behind your experience. So in your experience, Benjamin, what will be the right strategy for you to manage all these IT providers? I think you work with really big corporations in the past. You're working now in Palacio de Hierro, beautiful building, whoever never been in Mexico to visit. But what will be the right strategy for you to manage your IT providers?
So I think, first of all, we need to consider them as part of our strategy. They are an extension of your IT area, okay? So saying that, so you need to create and build a very strong relationship. Part of that relationship is how to handle in the administrative way that relationship. So you need to be sure what is the strategy, work with them to accomplish that strategy, but behind of that, there are a lot of administrative stops. As Pamela said, we need to be sure that they are executing what needs to be executed, but that needs to be measured. So you need to measure the level of accomplishment. So you need to see where do they need to improve something. If that is the case, so you need to work with them. And to do that, you need a specific area, which is the vendor management office, that will work with you providing that insight. So you don't need to go to capture that information. So for that, specifically, you need to have that responsibility, the vendor management office, that will give you those insights in order that you can have a picture across the time. What is the performance of one specific vendor? What needs to be adjusted? Okay. What is the real benefit that that company is bringing? Okay. And reinforce what needs to be reinforced. Okay. Or to adjust the contract if that will be the case. Okay.
Fantastic. And I will make an assumption here, but maybe a lot of people on the call are starting to think on building and develop the vendor management office in their companies. What are the key things that we need to know when we're starting to think on designing this vendor management office? What will be your recommendation for people that, yeah, this is something that I need a piece of technology that is going to help me manage better my providers? What will be those things that we need to think before building this area in our business?
Pamela, if you want, ladies first.
Yeah, I think when you have a vendor management office, I think that the key you have to complement with a financial management tool. I think this will be the key. Some of the benefits that you can get having these things working on is that you could track any suppliers assessing their performance base that I talked at the first question that is so important. The criteria mentioned in the contract. Sometimes we forget where are the contracts, what the contract says. So that's a huge risk sometimes, no? So I think all these areas that a vendor management have to integrate are key to have a better, like Benjamin said, a responsibility to go with our stakeholders, answer questions about the value, get better contracts, get better negotiations. So this is like Benjamin said, a huge responsibility when you have all this information in one side and you started to give visibility, take actions, and also the communication with our vendors. No, that's a key point about the vendor office, is that you can create a channel with them, that we can put all the information down for them and for us. So that will be.
That's fantastic. And Pame, you brought something really interesting, and maybe Benjamin, this question is for you. What are the key performance indicators that you can measure the performance with your providers? I imagine you are negotiating something based on an agreement. Like, what would be something that you will be or that you can share that would be something that you look when you talk about performing with your providers?
Okay, so let me first complement, or in addition to what Pamela said. I think to create the vendor management office, so if you do not have that figure inside of your company and you want to create that, so my recommendation will be, let's start with the strategic projects, the most relevant in terms of investment, and start with those vendors creating that office, because then you will monitor the most relevant investment of your companies. Okay, once you create that office, then you might include also a small project. So now your question, I think if you have in place the vendor management office, I think you need to work with them creating the future model that will the one that will govern the relationship. The model that will be part of the contract needs to include operational indicators that will reflect how well or how good the vendor is executing the contract. So that is one, but there are also other type of indicators like administered payments. But I think The model will give you the elements to measure the accomplishment of the execution. And that is what needs to be managed by the vendor management office, okay? And will be extremely important if the vendor management office will participate with you in the negotiation, okay? And in the future, if you want to replace that vendor, or if you will run another exercise with another vendor for another type of business, that office will have more experience. They will know better your business, and those insights will be part of the future model that you will create with that vendor. Okay.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Benjamin. And the last question for you, Pame, you have a lot of experience. Can you share some of the benefits and impact that you bring to your providers of the IT area? Like you have a solution in place that is helping you bring key performance indicator to your providers. But what are the benefits and the impact that you think you brought to your providers? Did they send you flowers because you have a really good negotiation of an agreement? What would be something that you can share that your providers are like, you've been fantastic?
I think like Benjamin said, vendor management office is when you build with them. You build with your partners that are all your vendors. So I think the more benefits is the communication, and that the vendors be part of this office. No, you work with them, so you are going to have a better accountability. You're going to have more certain of the budget of their invoices. So the vendor is very happy about that, to know where is this invoice, where is their contract, all the visibility we have, they always benefit for that. But I like the vision of Benjamin that we have to build this with them. It's not only something for us, it's for both. So I think the benefits, if you work or you build it like this, the benefits will be for both sides.
That's fantastic. And I promise the last two questions for both of you. What will be two key points that you will recommend to someone that is, again, thinking of building the vendor management organization or vendor management officer in their company? What would be the two key things that, let me tell you, these are the secret sauce to be successful with a vendor management or officer? What would be those two things? I don't know who want to share the secret.
So in my experience, first, this is a function that you cannot outsource. So first of all, look for a company with experience in the domain that you are looking for. If you want build or create the vendor management office to handle communications projects, operational projects, or I don't know, application management services, or field services, or service desk management. So look for a company with experience doing that activity as a vendor management office with other companies, okay? Because that company will connect with the real objective of the relationship, and they will bring some elements to measure that relationship, okay? So immediately that company will connect with the model that will be managed by them. So that is my recommendation. Go and find a company with experience doing the same in other companies, okay? Also, in addition to experience, what is the platform that company will bring to you to handle in an automatic way that relationship, okay? So that is another, and I think the last one is something that you need to do. You need to support that company, empower that company with your vendors, and internally with your organization. Otherwise, they will have experienced a lot of solutions to support that. But if they are not accepted inside of your company, there will be a problem. Okay, so basically, I will recommend those three.
Fantastic. Pame, you want to add any recommendation from your side?
Yeah, I will put 1 point extra, and it's also important when you have this partner that Benjamin said that help you with this implementation is that a good vendor onboarding. Also in my experience, I think the onboarding was key to the program, because it's the key first step that you have to have the vendor in your side, that all is understand for both sides. So I think that will be for me a simple key point that sometimes we forgot, no? The vendor onboarding.
That's fantastic. Thank you both. So I'm gonna open the question for the audience. I think there is a chat available on Microsoft Teams. If anyone wants to throw a question, if you see me looking this side, is because I have the chat on my left. I think, yeah, there is a question here from Alexander. While having a vendor management service, have you seen a direct positive impact in your revenue? Really good question.
I think it depends. In our case, one of the benefits is that that service will help you to stick to the budget. So the cost control will be handled by them. So that is one. Another benefit is that the bad part of the relationship will be handled by them, not by you, because they will measure in a very transparent way. Okay, this is, you didn't accomplish this month the service level agreement, and according to the contract, you will be penalized, and they will do that. So in the case of, in all of my experience in doing this in the companies that I have been working, so for me the benefit is to stick to accomplish the budget. Okay, that's it. Not necessarily the revenue, but I think there will be companies in which the vendor management office will manage the contract to guarantee the revenue. Okay.
That's a really good point, right? Like maybe not always it's about like making more money. Maybe sometimes it's about sticking to the agreement and making sure that your revenue streams are the right ones, right? I don't know if anyone has any other question. If not, last but not least, I want to introduce Andres. Andres is a country manager at RDITS Canada. So Andres, the microphone is all yours. Thank you everyone for your time. And we're gonna pass the Microsoft to Andres. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Especially thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Pamela, for your input, your comments here. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Just let me take just 2 minutes out of your time. I will be talking about quickly about vendor management. Why vendor management is so important. We realize that working with some of our Fortune 500 customers in Latin America, lately we realized that most of them didn't control their vendors properly. So there are huge contracts with many obligations and SLAs that were performed. The performance was never managed. The deliverables were not stored. And the expense management was manually controlled. So this lack of governance means losing money and, of course, higher risk exposure. So to solve this, we have developed our whole vendor management workflow as a service platform to manage these activities online, automated, recurrently, and auditable. We have 4 modules here. Procurement to automate and manage bids with full transparency. Financial to replace hundreds and sometimes thousands of spreadsheets that budget owners manually create and control. Contract to have these documents stored and secure in only one place and performance to automate the compliance and deliverables so our customers can obtain from their contracts, like just Benjamin said, what they are paying for. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for your time. We will be sending you information about this vendor management and how to improve your current processes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andres. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, everyone who participated on the webinar today. We really appreciate your time. And again, we're going to be contacting all of you. If you have any other questions, you will be able to answer it by email or maybe by a phone call. So thank you, everyone, for participating today. Looking forward to the session 2 coming up soon.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.